The rain pounded against the windshield as Eugene drove through the familiar streets of suburban Chicago, his heart racing with a mix of nostalgia and unease. He hadn't seen Ben in 5 years, not since college graduation when their paths diverged. Eugene chasing a tech job in Seattle, Ben staying behind to join his father's law firm. But the late-night call from Ben 2 days ago had been desperate. "I need you here, man. Everything's falling apart." Eugene pulled up to the old Victorian house, the one where they'd spent countless summers playing video games and dreaming about the future. And as he stepped out, Ben flung open the door, his face pale and eyes red-rimmed. "Eugene, thank God you're here," Ben said, pulling him into a hug that lingered a second too long, sending an unexpected jolt through Eugene's chest. They had always been close, closer than brothers, but this felt different, charged with something unspoken. Inside, the house was a mess of half-packed boxes and scattered papers. Ben's fiancée, Sarah, was nowhere in sight. "She's gone," Ben muttered, collapsing onto the couch. "We called off the wedding last week. Or rather, she did." Eugene sat beside him, trying to process the news. Ben had seemed so happy in their sporadic texts, planning a life with Sarah, the perfect girl from the perfect family. But as Ben poured out the story, the cracks appeared. Arguments over his long hours at work, her suspicions about his late nights, and finally, a blowout where she accused him of not loving her the way a husband should. Eugene listened, his mind flashing back to their teenage years. Ben had always been the golden boy, star quarterback, straight-A student, son of a conservative pastor who preached family values every Sunday. Eugene, on the other hand, had come out in college, facing his own family's lukewarm acceptance. He'd never sensed anything similar in Ben, but now, watching his friend unravel, doubts crept in. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Eugene asked, placing a hand on Ben's shoulder. Ben looked up, his blue eyes locking onto Eugene's with an intensity that made the room feel smaller. "Because I didn't know how. Eugene, there's something I've been hiding from everyone, including myself." He leaned in closer, his breath warm against Eugene's skin. I think I'm gay." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. Eugene's heart skipped a beat. All those shared secrets, the inside jokes, the way Ben had defended him when kids whispered slurs in high school. Had there been more to it? But before Eugene could respond, Ben pulled away, standing up abruptly. "Forget I said that. It's the stress talking. Sarah leaving messed me up." Eugene didn't push, not then. They spent the evening unpacking Ben's turmoil over pizza and beer, reminiscing about old times. But as night fell, and Ben showed Eugene to the guest room, the tension simmered. Lying in bed, Eugene stared at the ceiling, replaying Ben's confession. Was it real or just a momentary lapse? And why did it stir something deep within him, a longing he'd buried years ago? The next morning, Ben acted like nothing had happened, brewing coffee and talking about work. But Eugene couldn't let it go. Over breakfast, he broached it gently. "About what you said last night. If it's true, you know I'm here for you. I've been through it." Ben's fork clattered against his plate. "It's not that simple, Eugene. My dad, he'd disown me. The church, the firm, everything I've built. It's all tied to this image of the perfect son." His voice cracked. "And Sarah, she suspected, but I denied it. I thought marrying her would fix it." Eugene felt a pang of sympathy mixed with frustration. "You can't fix who you are, Ben. Pretending will only hurt more people." Ben's eyes flashed with anger. "Easy for you to say. Your parents eventually came around." "Mine? Dad preaches against it every other sermon. Traditional values, he calls it. If I come out, I lose everything." The argument escalated, voices rising as old resentments surfaced. Eugene accused Ben of cowardice. Ben shot back that Eugene had abandoned their friendship for the West Coast. But beneath the words, an undercurrent pulled them closer. By afternoon, they were walking in the nearby park, the same one where they'd played as kids, and Ben stopped under a sprawling oak tree. "I'm scared, Eugene," he admitted softly. "But being with you feels right." Without thinking, Eugene reached out, cupping Ben's face. Their lips met in a tentative kiss, the world fading around them. It was electric, confirming what Eugene had subconsciously known. But as they broke apart, Ben's phone buzzed, his father calling. "Dad wants me over for dinner," Ben said, panic in his voice. "He doesn't know Sarah left. What do I tell him?" Eugene watched as Ben composed himself, the mask slipping back into place. That night, alone in the house, Eugene wondered if this was the start of something beautiful or the beginning of a nightmare. The days blurred into a whirlwind of stolen moments and mounting pressure. Ben confided more, sharing how he'd suppressed his feelings since high school, how seeing Eugene come out had both inspired and terrified him. They explored the city together, hands brushing accidentally at first, then intentionally. But reality intruded. Ben's father, Reverend Harlan, kept pressing about the wedding, oblivious to the cancellation. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Ben turned to Eugene. "What if we tried this? Us?" Eugene's heart soared, but caution tempered it. "You have to be honest with yourself first. And with your family." Ben nodded, but doubt clouded his eyes. The next day, he met with Sarah to finalize things, returning home distraught. "She wants to tell everyone it was mutual, but she knows the truth. She's hurt, Eugene. Really hurt." Guilt gnawed at Eugene. Was he enabling Ben's deception, or helping him find his truth? As they lay together that night, nothing more than holding each other, Eugene whispered, "We can face this together." But the storm was brewing. Ben's sister, Emily, dropped by unexpectedly, eyeing Eugene suspiciously. "You two seem close," she remarked. Ben laughed it off, but Emily's gaze lingered. Later, she pulled Ben aside. "Dad's planning a family intervention. He thinks you're depressed about Sarah. But if there's more." Ben denied it, but the seed was planted. That night, he paced the living room. "I can't do this, Eugene. It's too much." Eugene felt the first crack in his resolve. Then what? Go back to pretending? The fight was brutal, words like daggers. Ben stormed out, leaving Eugene alone with his thoughts. When Ben returned hours later, reeking of whiskey, he collapsed into Eugene's arms. "I don't want to lose you," he sobbed. They reconciled, but the fragility was evident. Eugene extended his stay, helping Ben navigate the fallout. But whispers in the community started, Sarah's friends talking, Emily probing. One afternoon, Reverend Harlan showed up unannounced. "Son, we need to talk." Ben froze, Eugene retreating to the kitchen. Through the wall, Eugene heard the confrontation. Harlan demanding answers about Sarah. Ben stumbling through lies. Then, the bombshell, Harlan had heard rumors. "Is there someone else?" Harlan pressed. Ben hesitated. "Dad, it's complicated." Harlan's voice rose. Complicated? Or sinful? The argument exploded, Harlan quoting scripture, Ben defending himself weakly. When Harlan left, slamming the door, Ben was shattered. "He'll never accept it," Ben said, tears streaming. Eugene held him, but doubt crept in. Was love worth this destruction? The fallout from Reverend Harlan's visit lingered like a dark cloud over the house. Ben withdrew, spending hours in his home office, staring at case files without really seeing them. Eugene tried to bridge the gap, cooking meals and suggesting walks, but Ben's responses were curt, his mind elsewhere. "I need time," he'd say, avoiding eye contact. Eugene understood the turmoil. Coming out wasn't a switch you flipped. It was a war with yourself. But patience wore thin as days turned into a week. One evening, as rain lashed the windows again, Eugene confronted him. "We can't keep tiptoeing around this. What are we doing, Ben?" Ben looked up from his laptop, exhaustion etched on his face. "I don't know. Part of me wants to shout it from the rooftops, but the other part sees my life crumbling." They talked late into the night, dissecting Ben's fears. His father's church was his world. Growing up, Sundays were sacred, community events revolving around Harlan's sermons. Coming out would mean exile not just from family, but from the only social circle he'd known. And the firm, Ben added. Partners are old school. If word gets out. Eugene shared his own story. The awkward family dinners after he came out, his mother's tears, his father's silence. It got better, he said. But it took time. And I had to choose myself. Ben nodded, but resolve wavered. The next day he called Emily, testing the waters. What if I was different? He asked vaguely. Emily paused on the line. Different how? Ben, if you're gay, just say it. I love you no matter what. Relief washed over him, but it was short-lived. Emily warned, Dad won't. He's set in his ways. Emboldened slightly, Ben invited Eugene to a family barbecue that weekend, introducing him as my old college buddy visiting. The event was tense. Harlan grilling steaks, his mother, Linda, fussing over salads, Emily shooting knowing glances. As the afternoon wore on, Harlan cornered Ben. Heard from Sarah? You two working things out. Ben shook his head. It's over, Dad. Harlan frowned. You need a good woman to ground you, like your mother did for me. Eugene, overhearing from afar, felt a surge of anger. Later, as they drove home, he vented. How can you let him talk like that? Like being straight is the only way. Ben gripped the wheel tightly. Because challenging him means war. That night, their closeness deepened. In the quiet of the bedroom, Ben opened up about suppressed crushes, including one on Eugene in high school. I was too scared to admit it. Eugene's heart ached. I felt it too, but thought it was one-sided. They kissed again, passion building, but Ben pulled back. Not yet. I need to do this right. The decision came suddenly. Ben announced he was telling his parents. Eugene supported him, but anxiety gnawed. The meeting was set for Sunday after church. As they arrived at the family home, Harlan greeted them warmly, unaware. Over coffee, Ben took a deep breath. Mom, Dad, Emily, I'm gay. And Eugene, he's more than a friend. Silence descended like a hammer. Linda gasped. Emily reached for Ben's hand. Harlan's face reddened. What did you say? Ben repeated it, voice steady. Harlan exploded. This is an abomination. You've been influenced by him. He pointed at Eugene. Eugene stood his ground. Sir, this is who Ben is. The room erupted in chaos. Harlan quoting Bible verses, Linda crying, Emily mediating. Ben defended himself, tears flowing. I can't live a lie anymore. Harlan issued an ultimatum. Repent, or you're no son of mine. Ben chose truth, storming out with Eugene. In the car, he broke down. I lost my family. Eugene held him. You gained yourself. But the repercussions rippled. Monday, at the firm, whispers followed Ben. A partner pulled him aside. Heard about the family drama. Keep personal life personal. Sarah called, furious. You used me as a cover? How could you? Ben apologized profusely, but the damage was done. Friends distanced themselves, church members shunned him. Eugene felt responsible. Maybe I pushed too hard. Ben shook his head. No, you gave me courage. Yet, strain showed. Ben drank more, slept less. One night, after a heated call with Harlan, he lashed out at Eugene. This is your fault. If you hadn't come back. Eugene recoiled, hurt. I came because you asked. The fight escalated, old insecurities surfacing. Ben accused Eugene of swooping in like a savior. Eugene countered that Ben was using him as a crutch. They slept apart, the house cold. Morning brought apologies, but trust frayed. Emily visited, offering support. Give Dad time. He's shocked. But Harlan doubled down, calling congregants to pray for Ben's soul. Social media buzzed with veiled posts from church friends, condemning sinful choices. Ben's job suffered. Clients requested reassignments. They're uncomfortable, his boss said. Desperation set in. Ben considered recanting, begging forgiveness. Maybe I can go back. Eugene pleaded. Don't. You'll hate yourself. The turning point came when Harlan showed up at the house, Bible in hand. Son, come home. We can fix this. Ben wavered, glancing at Eugene. Dad, I love him. Harlan's face twisted. Choose your family or this perversion. Ben chose Eugene, closing the door on his father. But the victory was hollow. That night, Ben confessed, I don't know if I can handle this. Eugene assured him, but doubt lingered. As weeks passed, Ben adapted slowly, joining a support group, reconnecting with accepting friends. Their relationship blossomed amid the ruins, but scars remained. Then betrayal struck. Eugene discovered texts on Ben's phone from an ex-college fling, a guy named Mark. Miss our nights, one read. Confronted, Ben admitted, it was before you, but I reached out last week. When things got bad, nothing happened. Eugene felt gutted. You were going to cheat? Ben denied it, but trust shattered. I was scared, Eugene, of losing everything. The argument was cataclysmic, Eugene packing his bags. I can't be your safety net while you sabotage us. Ben begged him to stay. Please, I need you. Eugene left for a hotel, heartbreaking. Alone, he questioned everything. Was Ben ready? Had he rushed this? Ben called relentlessly, apologizing. Emily mediated, urging reconciliation. After 2 days, Eugene returned. We need boundaries. Therapy. Ben agreed, relief evident. They rebuilt cautiously, attending couples counseling. The therapist delved into Ben's internalized homophobia, the societal pressures molding him. Progress was slow, but tangible. Ben quit the firm, starting his own practice focused on LGBTQ rights. Harlan remained distant, but Linda reached out secretly, sending care packages. Yet, tension persisted. At a Pride event, their first, Ben froze when spotting church acquaintances. What if they tell Dad? Eugene encouraged, own it. Ben did, holding Eugene's hand publicly. It was liberating but exhausting. One evening, over dinner, Ben proposed moving to Seattle with Eugene. Start fresh. Eugene hesitated. Are you running away? Ben insisted no. I'm choosing us. They packed, saying goodbyes. Emily hugged them tearfully. I'm proud of you. As they drove west, hope flickered. But Eugene wondered, would the past catch up? The move to Seattle was supposed to be a new chapter, but ghosts from Chicago followed like shadows. Ben threw himself into setting up his law practice, networking with progressive firms, while Eugene returned to his tech job, the routine a welcome distraction. Their apartment overlooked Puget Sound, a far cry from suburban sprawl, but the view couldn't erase the strain. Nights were the hardest. Ben woke from nightmares, reliving his father's rejection. He hates me, he'd whisper. Eugene comforted him, but resentment built. Why was he always the anchor? His own coming out had been smoother. Supportive friends, a city that embraced diversity. Ben's baggage felt heavy. Counseling helped unpack it. The therapist, Dr. Reyes, probed, Ben, what does acceptance mean to you? Not losing my family, Ben admitted. And if that's impossible? Ben had no answer. Eugene shared his frustrations. I feel like I'm competing with his past. Dr. Reyes nodded. Trust takes time after betrayal. The Mark incident lingered, a scar. Ben deleted the contact, but Eugene checked his phone occasionally, guiltily. Socially, they thrived. Seattle's LGBTQ scene welcomed them. Pride parades, community events. Ben volunteered at a youth center, mentoring teens facing similar struggles. It gave him purpose, but highlighted his losses. One day, a letter arrived from Linda. I miss you. Dad's stubborn, but praying.
Ben cried, replying cautiously.
I hope he changes. Harlan didn't. A phone call came. Emily, frantic. Dad had a heart scare. He's in the hospital. Ben booked the first flight back, Eugene accompanying. At the hospital, tension was palpable. Linda hugged Ben tightly. Harlan, pale in bed, barely acknowledged him. Glad you're here, Harlan grunted. The visit was awkward, conversations skirting the elephant. When alone with Ben, Harlan said, This lifestyle, it's killing me.
Ben bristled.
My life, Dad, not a lifestyle. Harlan sighed. I raised you better. Ben left the room, fuming. Eugene waited outside. He's manipulating you. Back in Seattle, the incident reignited old wounds. Ben withdrew again, questioning his choices. Maybe if I hadn't come out. Eugene snapped. Then what? Marry Sarah? Live miserably? The fight escalated, accusations flying. Ben stormed out, not returning until dawn. Where were you? Eugene demanded. A bar. Thinking. Suspicion flared. Alone. Ben's hesitation confirmed it. I met someone. Talked. That's all. Eugene's world tilted. After everything?
Ben apologized, swearing fidelity.
But doubt poisoned them. They took a break, separate bedrooms, space. Eugene focused on work, Ben on his practice. Friends noticed the chill. Then, opportunity struck. Ben's firm landed a high-profile case defending a gay teen expelled from school. Media attention followed. Ben's story leaking. Pastor's son turned advocate. Interviews poured in. Ben spoke eloquently about his journey, crediting Eugene. But in one, he omitted the betrayal, painting a rosy picture. Eugene felt sidelined. It's our story, not just yours. Ben defended. I'm protecting us. The case won. Ben hailed a hero. Celebrations ensued. But at the party, Eugene overheard Ben flirting with a colleague. Laughter too intimate.
Confronted later, Ben denied.
Just networking. Eugene didn't buy it. You're repeating patterns. The blowout was inevitable. I can't do this anymore, Eugene said, packing again.
Ben panicked.
Don't leave. I'll change. But Eugene needed space. He crashed with a friend, reflecting. Had he idealized their reunion? Was Ben capable of commitment? Ben bombarded him with messages, promises. Emily called. He's lost without you. After a week, they met at a coffee shop. Ben looked haggard. I screwed up, but I love you. Eugene softened. Love isn't enough without trust. They agreed to try again with stricter therapy. Dr. Reyes suggested individual sessions.
Ben delved deeper, confronting childhood indoctrination.
Dad's words echo. It's wrong. Progress showed. Ben reached out to Harlan, inviting dialogue. Harlan refused, but Linda visited Seattle, bridging gaps. You're happy, she observed, watching them.
Ben nodded.
I am. But society intruded. A conservative client dropped Ben after learning his orientation. Conflicts with my values. Ben shrugged it off, but it stung. Eugene's company faced backlash from a viral post about Ben. Guilt by association. Why drag me into it? Eugene asked. Ben, it's who I am. Friction mounted. At a family reunion, Eugene sighed. Ben felt out of place, his wounds raw. One night, after too much wine, Ben confessed, sometimes I regret it all. Eugene's heart sank. Us.
No.
Coming out. The pain. The admission hung heavy. Eugene questioned their future. Then, a bombshell. Mark contacted Ben, in town for business. Wants to catch up. Eugene forbade it. Choose. Ben blocked him. You. Trust mended slowly. They traveled to San Francisco, reaffirming vows in private. Back home, Harlan called unexpectedly. Your mother's pushing me. Let's talk. The meeting was virtual, tense. Harlan admitted fears. Losing you to hell. Ben countered. Losing me to hate. Harlan softened slightly. I don't understand, but you're my son. It wasn't acceptance, but a crack. Ben shared with Eugene, hopeful. Maybe change is possible. Eugene smiled, but warily. As they built their life, challenges persisted. Societal stares, family strains. One evening, Ben proposed properly, ring in hand. Marry me? Eugene accepted, tears flowing. Planning began, but doubts whispered. Was this rushed? Invitations went out. Emily RSVP'd yes. Linda tentatively. Harlan declined. The rejection hit Ben hard. After all this, Eugene consoled, His loss. Wedding prep intensified drama. Sarah emailed congratulations, but with a sting. Glad you found truth. Wish I'd known sooner.
Ben replied graciously.
As the day neared, Eugene's nerves frayed. Are we ready? Ben assured. Yes. But the night before, Ben vanished. Eugene panicked, calling Emily. He's at the airport, she said. Heading to Chicago. Eugene's world crumbled. Betrayal again? He flew after, arriving at Harlan's door. Ben was there, arguing. I need your blessing, Ben pleaded. Harlan, can't condone sin. Ben turned, seeing Eugene. I had to try. Eugene. Without telling me? The confrontation spilled. Ben's desperation for closure, Eugene's fear of abandonment. They returned together, wedding proceeding. Vows exchanged amid friends, Emily officiating. But the honeymoon was bittersweet. In Hawaii, Ben admitted, I almost ran. Eugene, why? Fear of failing you. Honesty bonded them deeper. Back in Seattle, life normalized. Ben's practice thrived. Eugene promoted. Yet, a call from Emily. Dad wants to meet. The reunion was emotional. Harlan apologized stiffly. I was wrong to cut you out.
Ben forgave, cautiously.
Healing began, but scars remained. With Harlan's tentative olive branch, a fragile peace settled over their lives. Monthly calls evolved into visits. Linda baking pies, Harlan discussing neutral topics like sports. Ben tested boundaries, mentioning Eugene casually. Harlan grimaced but listened. It's progress, Ben told Eugene optimistically. Eugene remained skeptical. Don't get hurt again. Professionally, Ben's advocacy work soared. He testified in court for LGBTQ rights, his story inspiring many. But backlash came. Hate mail, online trolls labeling him a traitor to faith. One letter stood out. Anonymous, threatening, sinners like you don't deserve happiness. Ben brushed it off, but Eugene worried. Report it. Ben did, police dismissing it as harmless. Tension at home mounted. Eugene's job demanded travel, leaving Ben alone with thoughts. During one trip, Eugene returned early, finding Ben poring over old photos with Sarah. Nostalgia? Eugene asked sharply. Ben closed the album. Just remembering. Suspicion flared, but Eugene suppressed it. Trust was their mantra. Social circles expanded. Double dates with other couples, community events. But at a gala, Ben networked with a charismatic lawyer, Derek, their banter flirtatious. Eugene confronted later. Too friendly.
Ben left.
Jealous? He's straight. But doubt seeded. Emily's wedding approached a test. Ben was best man, Eugene +1. Harlan officiated, the church familiar. At rehearsal, Harlan pulled Ben aside. Proud of you, son. Despite everything.
Ben boomed.
The ceremony was beautiful. But at reception, a drunk uncle muttered slurs. Ben defended. That's my husband you're insulting. Harlan intervened. Enough. It was a small victory. Post-wedding, Ben confided. Feels like home again. Eugene felt sidelined. Don't forget what he did. Friction grew. Ben spent more time in Chicago helping with church events, neutral ones. You're regressing, Eugene accused.
Ben, reconciling.
A major case pulled Ben east, defending a bakery refusing gay weddings. Irony abounded. In court, facing conservative arguments echoing Harlan's, Ben wavered momentarily. He won, but exhausted. Returning, he found Eugene distant. What's wrong? You've changed, Eugene said. More cautious.
Ben, realistic.
The argument unearthed buried issues. Eugene's fear of losing Ben to family pressure. I chose you.
Ben yelled.
But part of you resents it, Eugene countered. Truth stung. Ben admitted ambivalence. They separated temporarily, Ben staying with a friend. Alone, Eugene reflected on sacrifices. Uprooting Ben, pushing coming out. Ben, meanwhile, sought Harlan's advice, ironically. Marriage is hard, Harlan said. But if it's God's will. Ben interrupted. It's my will. Harlan paused. Then fight for it. Ben returned, apologetic. I took you for granted. Reconciliation was passionate, commitments renewed. But fate twisted. A car accident, Ben rear-ended, minor injuries. In hospital, Eugene rushed in. I can't lose you. Ben, you won't. Recovery bonded them. Ben quit high-stress cases, focusing locally. Harlan visited, bringing soup. Take care. Warming continued. Then, adoption discussions arose. A family, Ben dreamed. Eugene agreed, but hurdles, background checks, interviews. During one, Ben's past surfaced, family estrangement. Why? The agent asked. Ben, I came out. Approval pended. Waiting, stress mounted. Ben snapped at Eugene over trivialities. One night, a call. Approval granted. Joy overflowed. They prepared for a child. But Harlan reacted poorly. 2 men raising a kid? Unnatural. Ben defended fiercely. Better than hate. Harlan hung up.
Disappointment crushed Ben.
Why can't he accept fully? Eugene. Some people never do. The child, a boy named Jamie, arrived, a foster placement turning permanent. Parenthood transformed them. Sleepless nights, first steps. Ben thrived, but societal judgments persisted. Stares at parks, questions from teachers. One day, at school pickup, a parent confronted, Is this healthy for the kid? Ben, love is healthy. Support from community bolstered.
Harlan met Jamie reluctantly, softening.
Cute kid. Over time, he engaged more, babysitting occasionally. Grandpa duties, he grumbled, but smiled. Healing deepened. Yet, internal conflicts lingered. Ben confessed to Eugene. Sometimes I wonder what if I'd stayed closeted. Eugene, happier. Ben, no, but easier. Honesty strengthened them. A crisis hit. Jamie bullied at school for 2 dads. Ben raged, meeting with principal. Handle it, he demanded. Resolved, but Jamie asked, Why do people hate us? Ben explained gently, Fear of different. It echoed his youth. Advocacy intensified. Ben wrote a book on his journey. Publication brought acclaim and threats. One escalated. A brick through their window. Note, fags out. Police involved, but fear gripped. Move, Eugene suggested. Ben, no. Stand ground. Security installed. Harlan called, concerned. Come home. Safer. Ben refused. This is home. The incident united family. Harlan visited, staying weeks. Conversations deepened. Harlan admitting doubts about teachings. I was wrong, he conceded. Tears flowed. Reconciliation peaked at Jamie's birthday. Full family present. But undercurrents. Eugene noticed Ben's distant looks. What's wrong? He asked.
Ben, overwhelmed.
The cost. Eugene, worth it. Ben nodded, but hesitantly. A secret emerged. Ben had contacted Sarah, apologizing again. She responded kindly, married now. Eugene found the emails. Why?
Ben, closure.
Trust frayed anew. Argument ensued. Always looking back. Ben, you don't understand the guilt. Therapy resumed. Dr. Reyes, address roots. Ben revealed. Suppressed resentment toward Eugene for forcing change. Eugene, I supported, but acknowledged pushing. Forgiveness came slowly. Life stabilized. Jamie thrived. Family mended. Yet, at a quiet dinner, Ben posed, Did I make the right choice? Eugene, yes. But the question lingered. Years passed in a rhythm of milestones and quiet battles. Jamie grew into a confident teen, excelling in school and sports, his 2 dads his biggest cheerleaders. Ben's book became a bestseller, spawning speaking tours where he shared his story of redemption and resilience. Eugene advanced to a senior role at his company, their Seattle home a sanctuary of stability. Harlan, now retired from the pulpit, had fully embraced his role as grandfather, even attending Pride events reluctantly, his views evolving through love for his family. But beneath the surface, fissures remained. Ben's tours took him away often, and in hotel rooms, doubts crept in. What if I'd chosen differently? He'd journal, reflecting on the life he left behind. The firm, the church, the facade of normalcy. Eugene noticed the changes. Ben's occasional silences, the way he'd stare at old photos. "Talk to me?" Eugene urged one evening, as rain pattered against the windows, reminiscent of that first night in Chicago. Ben set down his glass. "I love our life, Eugene, but the what-ifs, they haunt me." Eugene felt a chill. "Like regretting us?" "No," Ben said quickly. "Regretting the hurt I caused. Sarah, my parents, even you, with my hesitations." They delved deep that night, unpacking layers. Ben admitted the moral weight. Deceiving Sarah, betraying his upbringing, the ethical quandary of prioritizing self over others' pain. Was it selfish? Ben asked. Eugene pondered. Self-preservation isn't selfish. But the lies, they damaged. Resolution came through action. Ben organized a reconciliation event, a panel discussion with Sarah, now an ally advocate, and Harlan, sharing his transformation. The event was cathartic. Tears, apologies, hugs. Sarah forgave publicly. "You taught me empathy." Harlan, "I was blind. Love opened my eyes." Media hailed it a triumph, but privately, Ben broke. "It doesn't erase the scars." Eugene held him. "Scars make us stronger." Jamie, overhearing, joined. "I'm proud of you, Dad." Family bonds tightened. Yet society pushed back. A new law threatened LGBTQ rights. Ben lobbied fiercely. During a protest, counter-protesters hurled slurs. Ben stood firm, but later confided, "It never ends." Eugene, "We fight on." A health scare shook them. Eugene diagnosed with early-stage cancer. Ben dropped everything, nursing him through treatment. "I can't lose you," Ben whispered during chemo. Eugene, "You won't." Recovery bonded them irrevocably. In remission, Eugene proposed renewing vows. The ceremony was intimate. Beachside, Jamie as witness, Harlan blessing. "I do." They echoed, rings exchanged. Post-vows, life flourished. Jamie came out as bi, Ben supporting unconditionally. "Learned from the best," Jamie said. Harlan accepted seamlessly. But in quiet moments, Ben reflected on the journey's cost. Lost friends, strained years, emotional toll. One anniversary, over candlelight, Ben raised a toast. To choices, right or wrong. Eugene clinked glasses. All led here. As they aged, legacies loomed. Ben mentored young lawyers. Eugene volunteered at shelters. Harlan passed peacefully, his last words to Ben, "I'm sorry, and proud." Funeral united all, healing complete. In aftermath, Ben wrote a sequel book questioning societal norms. At launch, he posed to the audience. Was coming out worth the devastation? Debate ensued. Back home, Eugene asked, "Your answer?"
Ben smiled.
"Yes, freedom's price is high, but priceless." They embraced, the storm passed. Yet the story's end begged reflection. Was Ben's path of truth and turmoil ultimately the right one? Or could suppression have spared the pain while costing his soul? Years passed in a rhythm of milestones and quiet battles. Jamie grew into a confident teen, excelling in school and sports, his two dads his biggest cheerleaders. Ben's book became a bestseller, spawning speaking tours where he shared his story of redemption and resilience. Eugene advanced to a senior role at his company, their Seattle home a sanctuary of stability. Harlan, now retired from the pulpit, had fully embraced his role as grandfather, even attending Pride events reluctantly, his views evolving through love for his family. But beneath the surface, fissures remained. Ben's tours took him away often, and in hotel rooms, doubts crept in. What if I'd chosen differently? He'd journal, reflecting on the life he left behind. The firm, the church, the facade of normalcy. Eugene noticed the changes. Ben's occasional silences, the way he'd stare at old photos. "Talk to me," Eugene urged one evening, as rain pattered against the windows, reminiscent of that first night in Chicago. Ben set down his glass. "I love our life, Eugene, but the what-ifs, they haunt me." Eugene felt a chill. "Like regretting us?" "No," Ben said quickly. "Regretting the hurt I caused. Sarah, my parents, even you, with my hesitations." They delved deep that night, unpacking layers. Ben admitted the moral weight. Deceiving Sarah, betraying his upbringing, the ethical quandary of prioritizing self over others' pain. Was it selfish? Ben asked. Eugene pondered. Self-preservation isn't selfish. But the lies, they damaged. Resolution came through action. Ben organized a reconciliation event. A panel discussion with Sarah, now an ally advocate, and Harlan, sharing his transformation. The event was cathartic. Tears, apologies, hugs. Sarah forgave publicly. "You taught me empathy." Harlan, "I was blind. Love opened my eyes." Media hailed it a triumph, but privately, Ben broke. "It doesn't erase the scars." Eugene held him. "Scars make us stronger." Jamie, overhearing, joined. "I'm proud of you, Dad." Family bonds tightened. Yet society pushed back. A new law threatened LGBTQ rights. Ben lobbied fiercely. During a protest, counter-protesters hurled slurs. Ben stood firm, but later confided, "It never ends." Eugene, "We fight on." A health scare shook them. Eugene diagnosed with early-stage cancer. Ben dropped everything, nursing him through treatment. "I can't lose you," Ben whispered during chemo. Eugene, "You won't." Recovery bonded them irrevocably. In remission, Eugene proposed renewing vows. The ceremony was intimate. Beachside, Jamie as witness, Harlan blessing. "I do." They echoed, rings exchanged. Post-vows, life flourished. Jamie came out as bi, Ben supporting unconditionally. "Learned from the best," Jamie said. Harlan accepted seamlessly. But in quiet moments, Ben reflected on the journey's cost. Lost friends, strained years, emotional toll. One anniversary, over candlelight, Ben raised a toast. To choices, right or wrong. Eugene clinked glasses. All led here. As they aged, legacies loomed. Ben mentored young lawyers. Eugene volunteered at shelters. Harlan passed peacefully, his last words to Ben, "I'm sorry, and proud." Funeral united all, healing complete. In aftermath, Ben wrote a sequel book questioning societal norms. At launch, he posed to the audience. Was coming out worth the devastation? Debate ensued. Back home, Eugene asked, "Your answer?"
Ben smiled.
"Yes, freedom's price is high, but priceless." They embraced, the storm passed. The years brought more challenges and joys. Jamie graduated college, starting his own family. Ben and Eugene retired, traveling the world, advocating quietly. Reflecting on their story, Ben often said, "Every decision has a price." Eugene agreed, their love enduring. But the core question remained, sparking endless discussion among those who heard their tale. Was the pursuit of authentic love worth the profound pain and societal upheaval it caused? Or would a life of quiet conformity have been the kinder path for all involved?